Spoke is becoming evil on the Unstable SMP, and that means Ashwag is about to return. Ashswagg, the most influential and powerful leader in the history of the Unstable SMP. He was the leader of the Mafia, an organization that once controlled the entire server and killed thousands of players. Eventually though, he was defeated, but before Ashwag disappeared, he told Spoke one day Spoke would become evil. He would create a Mafia of his own, and when that happened, Ashwag would return. But what if that prophecy is no longer just a prediction, and what if someone is actively trying to make it happen right now on purpose? But to understand what's actually happening to Spoke right now, you need to first understand the one moment where we almost lost him completely. In Spoke's video, my best friend died on the Unstable SMP. Spoke and Mapek were running low on resources, so Spoke set Mapek on a mission to steal more, and he had him set an Enderpearl stasis chamber in case he needed a quick escape. Spoke also gave him blue ice and lily pads to use in the fight. About an hour later, Mapek still hadn't returned, so Spoke activated the stasis. Mapek appeared for a split second, covered in arrows and screaming, "We have to run." Because he had thrown a pearl exactly before Spoke pulled his stasis, he instantly teleported back to the fight. Spoke headed to the stash, and there he found a fresh aftermath of a fight, with items and XP scattered on the ground, some of which were the lily pads and blue ice he gave Mapek. Spoke later confronted Leo, who showed him Mapek's shield and claimed that Mapek died fighting the spies. Believing his best friend was dead, Spoke broke. Spoke built a massive TNT cannon and threatened to destroy the entirety of Capital City unless someone finally told him the truth about what happened to Mapek. An entire city full of innocent players. He was about to blow it up because he thought he lost one person. This is the clearest window we have ever gotten into what Spoke acts like when his moral anchor is gone. Mapek was essentially the only thing keeping Spoke grounded. Spoke's morals aren't some fixed internal code like most people, but rather they fundamentally depend on the people he attaches himself to. Every time he has went down a dark path on the server, it was when he lost those closest to him. But after the newest Spoke episode, I don't think losing Mapek is the only thing that's breaking him anymore, because I think there's somebody actively trying to destroy Spoke mentally. Jamato P. You see, while Spoke and Jumper were still looking for Mapek who disappeared, they got jumped by Null. Netherite players with gibberish names and blank skins that have totem stasises, meaning that the moment you pop their totem, they disappear. Eventually, they uncovered a book called Null. It had the names of players paired with coordinates, almost like a watch list. After eventually finding Mapek, the trio decided to go to the home of Null, in the far lands. That's where Jamato P joined them. Jamato was actually Spoke's first ever ally on the server, but after Jamato's base got destroyed, he disappeared, until later on when they met again and Spoke tried to kill Jamato. Now, Mapek and Jumper don't know that Spoke tried to kill Jamato, and they still think Jamato is their friend. Back in the present, Jamato gave Spoke a book revealing himself as the leader of Null and blackmailing him not to tell Jumper and Mapek anything. They continue traveling through the farland until Spoke finally attempts to ambush Jamato invisible, but Jamato instantly escapes using a totem stasis chamber, just like the one that Null uses. Jumper and the others get captured, and Mapek starts losing trust in Spoke. Jamato then traps Spoke and Mapek inside of a maze and begins telling Mapek all of the horrible things Spoke has done. He manipulates him emotionally, turning him against Spoke until eventually Mapek attacks a defenseless Spoke and breaks his armor. And right then, at that moment, Null appears. They're both taken into Purgatory, a massive nether prison with over 1,000 inmates. In there, Spoke tries to break out multiple times, and every time he does, the people who help him end up dying. But despite being the one who organized the escapes, every single time Spoke is left to live. For some reason, Jamato can't kill Spoke. And I don't think it's just plot armor. Why can't Jamato kill Spoke? He has complete control, and yet Spoke keeps living. I think that has to be intentional, but we're gonna come back to that. Now back to the prison. Null's purpose is supposed to be order. They built Purgatory to contain bad players and keep the Unstable SMP stable. However, the whole prison is suspiciously unguarded. The prisoners have a whole black market underground. They organize gladiator fights in the literal center of the prison, and yet Jamato doesn't seem to care. And there's absolutely zero chance he doesn't know about this. It's almost as if he wants there to be chaos and violence. Jamato even manipulates the prisoners against Spoke. He tells all of the prisoners that Spoke is the reason they are in prison. He says he wants them to fester a burning hatred towards Spoke. Jamato wants Spoke to be isolated. He wants him to be blamed for everything. He wants every attempt to do good to end in suffering. If Null's goal truly was order, then why would they allow prisoners to organize violent fights in the center of the prison? They are creating an environment where prisoners slowly lose their humanity just to survive. Why build a prison designed to make people lose their humanity? Unless Prison isn't about containing bad players, instead it's about creating one. At the end of the episode, Jamato says something incredibly important. He says the arena is ready and the games will begin. I genuinely believe Jamato is preparing some kind of Hunger Games style event inside Purgatory. A game show where prisoners will be forced to kill each other, betray each other and fight to survive while the entire prison watches. And if that's true, Spoke is about to lose even more people, because that's what Jamato has been doing this entire time, slowly stripping away every single little thing keeping Spoke human. I think Ashswagg's prophecy is finally starting to come true, and Jamato was intentionally pushing him toward the exact same emotional state that once created the mafia itself. But there's still one thing I keep coming back to. Why does Jamato keep letting Spoke live? Let's look back at what Ash said. He didn't say Spoke would die. He said Spoke would become evil. He would build a mafia and then he would return. So what if Jamato isn't acting alone? What if someone needs Spoke alive, isolated and pushed past the point of no return? Because that is the version of Spoke that triggers something. I still don't know exactly what. But Ashwag knew this would happen. And my question is, did he just predict it? Or is there someone else? Someone above Ashwag, above the director, even above Jamato? Someone who built the Farlands, the orbital cannons, the underworld, the forge, the gods of the Unstable SMP.